Welcome to MMA Underground. Today you got Buddy V and the Yankee. Bam.
Yeah, we're Britless. We're Britless today, but we'll figure a way through it because he had some British ass shit to do. I don't know. I got a message that I did not completely understand, even though we speak the same language. Sometimes shit gets lost in translation. So Maddie had something to do. Buddy and V and I are holding it down. We got a special guest later for you, though. We got Lil Deezo from Street Beefs West Coast. I'm excited to have him on.
And he's a good guy, too, inside and outside the ring. Woo!
So, Buddy V, what was one of the reasons you wanted to talk to him? Like, I know that we had some scheduling shit and going on, and I was like, Buddy, what are we going to do? Because somebody we were supposed to have on wasn't going to be. And you called up your boy, and he came in, and I wanted to talk to him anyway, but we got him in sooner than expected.
Yeah. No, he honestly has a lot to offer, I feel like, because as me trying to do my own thing, with my fighting, my company, this and that, I see him doing it his own way, and everything that he does is like, he's creating something. He has the Elevated Mindset Combative, and I follow him. I met him over at a West Coast event that I went to. I think it was Street Beefs West Coast 3, and I saw him slowly start to create this brand and evolve, and just seeing him balance it all on social media and even online in the fights to where it's a point where, he's going to have a pay-per-view event, and he's continually growing and helping others. And I just really I wanted to talk to him a little bit, get a little bit of insight of what he thinks, kind of what makes him tick, both as a fighter and as a person. I feel like that would be a good collaboration to be able to talk about. Because, sometimes, you got fighters and they're gung-ho. That's all I know is fighting, though.
Yeah, and he's an exciting fighter to watch. Win or lose, that guy's out there giving it his all, man. Like, he literally comes out of there looking like somebody doused him with a bucket of water. He puts it in. Like, dude puts the work in. He's an exciting fighter. So I was really excited that we could get him on today. But before we get to that, I got to bring up the social media MMA world news of the day. Did you see John Jones's tweet today?
No, something about it. I didn't look at it, though. Dang it.
So he was saying that you all can pretty much dance on my grave, all you haters, because my wife made it official and she ain't coming back to me.
Damn.
There was some cold responses. People were like, yeah, you finally knocked some fucking sense into her. Or like, that's what happens when you take drugs and beat her. Like, there was some pretty gangster responses on there.
Dang, I gotta look that up later. Heck yeah.
Yeah, it looked like John Jones kind of getting dragged through the mud right now even more. I am not a John Jones fan. I'm not defending the shit that he's pulled. I think he's wasted a lot of time where he could have had some really amazing fights, whatever his problem with him and Dana White are. I figure, man, if you're making $10 million, I know you probably deserve more, but at some point I'm like, just pay me.
Yeah. And he could be sitting there fighting. If he was doing everything he could have been challenging Ngannou for all we know. But definitely not anytime now or anytime soon.
Yeah, you see Ngannou and Fury might be a real thing. It seems like that might really happen.
That'd be a killer fight.
I think Fury probably takes it to him unless Ngannou lands, right? Because Ngannou can drop you with that. He's got the power. But I feel like Fury, he looks big and awkward, but he is so skilled. I think it's a money grab, which I'm cool with. Not like the Jake Paul money grabs kind of annoy me sometimes. This one, not so much, just because I don't know if it's because they're heavyweights and I'm like, maybe he lands one and destroys him. You know what I mean? But I'd be more apt to watch this than I was Ben Askren and Jake Paul.
Yeah, because you actually, you expect a lot more from both of these fighters. They take their craft seriously. Fury, like you said, has a technical skill. He could land something that'll just knock him straight out. But Ngannou has that power. If one solid one connects, that could just be the start of the end of the round. Just seeing it come here more, connect another one, out cold.
Yeah, it's definitely crazy to think that more money is going to these MMA/boxing fights, even though they're boxing, but with MMA guys, than a lot of the boxing pay-per-views now. Like, if you look at the numbers, Jake Paul and them are crushing, not like UFC type stuff, but these smaller boxing pay-per-views, not Canelo. Of course, Canelo is always going to sell in these certain guys, but these other ones that don't have a guy like him, he's actually beating him in pay-per-view numbers. And you're like, how? You fought Ben Askren. And I'm a Wisconsin guy. I love Ben. Don't get me wrong, but that's not where Ben's strong suit was, even in MMA. He got you to the ground and he beat you up. He was never going to stand and box with you.
No. I mean, come on. We all know exactly what his ground game is. Stop, please. Sorry. We all know that his specialty is a ground game, you know. But stepping into the boxing ring, especially with someone who's been training only boxing, only with professionals too. I mean, whether you like the Paul brothers or not, they have the money to have the accessories available to them, so that way they can be competing at a high level. Whereas someone who has natural talent might not be able to get the help that they need, so you know they might not be able to go as far.
All right. Well, our guest is here, so I'm going to bring him in.
Yo, what up?
Thanks for joining us, man. We really appreciate your time.
Hey, I thank you guys for inviting me on. I do. I really do.
So before we get into anything, and there's going to be questions and shit like that, the first thing I got to ask is, I think it was Earthborn. What was that like when his shoulder just straight came out of socket? Because I'll never forget the way that shoulder looked when he walked out of the ring. I was like, damn.
Ooh. Oh, you just renamed him Earthborn. I like that. I like that because his last opponent was Earthling 7, and his name is Battleborn.
Sorry. My bad.
No. I didn't fight Earthling 7. I fought Battleborn, but Battleborn's last opponent was Earth.
Yeah.
So like, it was very surreal, like, because, you know, the first fight, I came out and I was brawling, you know what I'm saying? I was brawling, I was throwing heavy volume, and I gassed. So the second fight, I was going to be more, you know, methodical and calculated and just throw, like, hella jabs. So, like, we had one little exchange. I threw, like, a jab high, a jab low, and then a hook to the body, I think, something like that.
Yeah.
Then he came in again. He threw a couple punches, which I blocked. And on his way out, I threw 2 stiff jabs. And the second one, at the same time that I threw it, he threw. And it kind of like we punched each other's punch in a sense. So my punch just went straight through his arm, basically. But like a lot of people think that he threw his arm out, which I don't know, man. I don't think he did, because not like he threw a crazy ass, you know what I'm saying, hook or anything like that. It's just that it was just the perfect, you know what I'm saying, timing of that. There were 2 stiff jabs, you know, fast, stiff jabs, and they just hit right at that perfect time, and the arm popped out. And then really, I didn't know what the fuck was going on, because I thought, you know, that was the end of that little exchange, and then we're going to do another exchange. And then he just started screaming and shit, and I looked at his shoulder, and I saw it looked like he was about to turn into a werewolf and shit, you know, when their bones pop out their back and shit like that. Bruh. And I was just like, what the fuck? And I was like, man, my first thought was, I hope they don't try to call this a fucking, what is it, no contest?
Oh,
or some
title
stupid
fight,
ass
right?
shit like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because it was a title fight.
Yeah.
You're like,
right.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna problem with everybody.
Look, man, you've had some
Right.
freaking brawls.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Sketchy was probably my favorite.
Definitely.
Like that fight, watching you, just because the exchanges, the movement, and that dope ass ring you guys were fighting in, that was pretty cool. That outdoor, you got the mountains behind you, the canopy over the top. I was like, that's some really badass shit. You could make like a movie with that being the set for like a new Kumite or some shit.
No, it was dope. It was definitely hella dope. That's probably my favorite performance as well. And a lot of it had to do with the ring, actually, because I had so much grip and I was able to do what I'm normally able to do. And on the stand, it's not really that way, you know? Plus, I had the black Air Force Ones on and shit. I had just washed them, so the rubber was hella super grippy. So I was ready, bro. Like, and then I prayed right before, and I didn't even ask God for speed or power. I just thanked him for already giving it to me. You know what I'm saying? And I just went out there. Yeah, I just went out there and did what I did. You know?
Yeah,
all instinct feeling, just no game plan, just doing. You know what I'm saying? And you know, Sketchy's fucking tough, bro. Because I hit him with some good shots. I hit him with some good ass shots.
No, shout out to both you guys. I really enjoyed that fight. So Anybody who's going to go watch this man's fights, which you should, make sure you watch that one, though. That was great. And I mean, like we ask everybody who comes on, man, what got you into fighting? When did you decide you wanted to fight in street beefs? How did that all go down?
So what got me into fighting was when I was, born, basically. As soon as I could understand English, my dad would just talk about street fights. That's literally all he ever talked about. And I mean, cause he grew up his whole life fighting, you know what I'm saying? Cause like in the home and in school and shit like that. Like he would fight his mom's boyfriends and shit like that as a young child, you know? So he would always tell me stuff about his fights, and I was like looking at him like some kind of superhero, some kind of street fighting superhero, you know, like, and I would just imagine myself all the time, just daydreaming about fighting nonstop, just in class, and just it's all I cared about, you know, since a very young age. And basically, I grew up knowing that I was gonna be some type of fighter. Like, I didn't think I was gonna be like a world champion, famous fighter or anything like that. Like, I didn't have those type of aspirations. I just wanted to fight somebody.
Yep.
I just wanted to fucking fight. And so when I got the chance, because what happened was right around the time Corona hit, I started working out consistently again, and I got the itch, and I was like, fuck, I want to fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, I finally want to do it because I'm in good shape. And then Corona hit. And so all the amateur fight leagues, they shut down and everything like that. So I was like, fuck, now I don't have any avenue. I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to keep lifting weights, you know what I'm saying? Just for when it does open up, I'll be extra ready. But then Street Beast West Coast made that announcement that they had an event on San Bernardino. And I was like, oh, I'm signing up for that. And then so I did. And like basically the rest is history. Shit was crazy.
Oh, heck yeah. I remember, I think it was when Hard in the Fight did a little press conference, you between someone else. I can't remember who it was. It was before I had one with Gash. And you said you remember that your dad fought in street fights and whatnot, and it made you proud. I was actually curious because I know you have a couple kiddos. What's
Yeah.
it like being able to give them that sort of pride, the way you felt about your dad? Now you're carrying on that legacy of playing street, giving them something to be proud of, that they can look up to their dad almost like he's some sort of superhero.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of like how you say you want to do better than your parents for your kids, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm doing the same thing he did for me, but better. Because he's talked about street violence, he talked about knife violence, talked about gun violence, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I want to keep the fighting mentality going, the fighting spirit going, but just delete all the street violence, you know what I'm saying? So it's just narrowing it down, making it more refined and more sharp as the generations go on. And so that feels good because a lot of times as parents, we start to like, you know, at least me personally, I doubt myself a lot, and I have a guilt that I carry around with me for all the mistakes I've made when it comes to parenting. So like when I see, you know, the looks on their faces when they watch me fight, and when I talk to them about fighting, and they want and they come to me and they're like, Dad, like teach me how to box, you know, that makes me feel good and lets me know like I'm on the right path as a parent, you know what I'm saying? Because like it's easy to forget.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
when you get in there, would you prefer to box or do you like MMA better? I think I've seen way more boxing matches of yours, but
Right.
it's hard to keep up with everybody's fights. But there's certain guys that once you watch them fight, dude, you leave it all out there. You got to watch those fights when they show up.
Yes, 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 yes. You know, initially I was gonna just stick with MMA because I love to wrestle. And in my first fight, I started out with the boxing, but then I got overwhelmed with his striking darkness. So I went straight for a takedown and I got it right away, you know? So I was like, oh, this feels comfortable for me. Like I like MMA. But then the second fight with darkness, I did lots of wrestling in that fight too. But we were on the sandbox, which is pulverized granite. So it's like glass type shit, you know what I'm saying? Sharp as fuck. And it fucked up my knee for like a month and a half after that. I couldn't even work like properly and shit. Terrible. So, and then I fought again one more time against Venom. And I just wasn't happy with my boxing in that fight because I could have I could have won that fight easily if I had better boxing. So I switched over to just boxing for 2 reasons. For number one, the sand was fucking up my knees, and my boxing was lacking in MMA. So what ended up happening was they kept the sand, so I stayed in boxing, and I kind of like found a little bit of I don't know how to say it. Like I feel like this is also just as interesting for me, or I love it just as much as I do MMA and wrestling. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because someone I look up to is Mike Tyson for sure, and he's a boxer. You know what I'm saying? And that was before MMA was even in like existed to me. I knew about Mike Tyson, so boxing was also, you know, like my first love, because my dad would tell me about all street fights. It was mostly just bare knuckle boxing style fights, not much wrestling in those fights that he would talk about. So, but once I figured out that I do know how to wrestle, and I got a little bit of grappling training, like in the Marine Corps, then I started training more MMA, watching MMA, and not watching boxing as much. But now I'm focusing on boxing because I feel like I'm already kind of making like an actual career out of it in a sense. It's at least it's the beginning of an actual career, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know if I would be able to do that as quickly or as efficiently in MMA. So I'm just going to stick with the boxing for now and try to take it as far as possible.
Nice. So if that's the case and you plan on going to the next level, you at least want to stick around and get a handful more at that West Coast, or as many as you can. Because I mean, when you look at that West Coast, there's a few staple faces that you see, and Lil Deezo is a staple face. Just like, you know,
Yeah.
Viking Warrior at the scrapyard, Deezo at the West Coast.
Right. Yeah. I'm definitely not going to stop fighting in street beefs. That's for sure. Like, you know, unless I go pro, then I'll have no choice. But if I like, even if I start doing amateur fights, I'm still going to come to street beefs. Like I have to, you know what I'm saying? I gotta. Like, it's not just about fighting anymore. It's about family now.
Exactly.
So what
That's
was
how
it like going to Virginia to fight? Was that pretty awesome?
Yeah, you know, I treated it like a mission. Like I said before, I was in the Marine Corps. But so I was scared, you know what I'm saying? I was like legit scared. I felt like I was about to go into real combat. Not that I know what that feels like, but I was likening it to that in my head, you know? So I treated it like a mission. I was like, well, if I was in the Marine Corps still, what would I do in this case? Because I still got to get this shit done. It's like I'd make a plan. So that's what I did. I wrote out a little plan, and then I stuck to my plan, you know what I'm saying? So the flight over, I was just thinking the whole time, like, all right, basically, I'm an assassin and I'm about to go eliminate a target, and that's all this is. So that helped me like take the emotion out of it, even though I was still scared and still frightened and nervous. Like, it didn't matter because I had a mission, and the mission comes first before anything, before your feelings, before your own life. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I felt. I felt scared and nervous, but also at the same time committed and focused. And I think I did pretty fucking good. I was very satisfied with my performance, even though I was extremely gassed at the end. I like basically died.
Was that the one where you started like dry heaving a little bit?
Yes, dude.
Yeah.
And if you watch it's the Zaytoven fight. If you watch the behind the scenes that Hart in the fight posted, you can see me in between rounds dry heaving and shit and just dying on the stool, bro, dying on the stool. But then when it comes time to get back in that ring, none of that matters, bro, because the mission comes first. You know what I'm saying? So
That's not something everybody has.
yeah, dude, like I don't know. It's a level of commitment that I guess I could say I learned it from the Marine Corps. Like, I was willing to give my own life. Not that I ever had to, but I was down to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that I will die in the ring, like I'm down to die in the ring, because I'm not. But in preparation, I got to convince myself that I am. Lil Deezo keeping it real. Much respect, homie. Thanks, JJ. Appreciate you. Respect.
Did you know who you were fighting before you got there, or was it like you showed up and then found out who you were fighting?
Okay, so it's a long story. I was supposed to fight like 2 months before we started planning the invasion. I was supposed to fight Zach or Lil Mac, the guy who I'm gonna fight next. So, but last minute they had a YouTube sensation come through and sign up for the event. So they needed someone that had enough skill to handle him. So they had to choose Zach for that. So they took him out of my fight, gave him to Crocra. His name is Lil Crocra. And
Okay.
then they matched me up with Savage, but like 2 days or like a day before or something like that, he had some travel issues. He couldn't make it. So that's when they said, okay, you're going to fight Zaytoven. And I was like, all right, doesn't matter who it is. You know what I'm saying? Target's a target. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it. I knew for like a day. I got to watch his fights for like, I don't know. I studied him for like an hour or so before, but you know, what can you really do in one night of studying? So,
Right.
yeah.
Get a little mental preparation in. Oh yeah. I mean, I don't
Like
know.
I watched,
Actually,
yeah.
let me phrase that because I see your Instagram stuff, and I know sometimes at night you're hitting that gym late too. You're hitting full sets when everybody's about to go to sleep.
Man, because I work so much during the day. Like, usually I wake up around 8 o'clock. I'm at work by like anywhere from 9 to 11, depending on what time my boss shows up because he likes to party and shit. And then we get off at 5, and then straight away because that's when it gets busy for DoorDash is at 5. So as soon as I get off work, boom, I start DoorDashing till midnight, and then I go to the gym at midnight and do my shit.
Damn.
So like, it's tough, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's a struggle, and it fucking sucks, dude. And I hate it, but it's all gonna pay off, bro. It's all gonna pay off.
Yeah, that fight. Woo, I think instead of Lil Mac, wasn't it Easy Mac? No.
Yeah, Easy Mac. I had Easy Mac for breakfast yesterday. In a literal sense, too.
Right.
Saying,
I was
eat this
curious
fool.
because I know that you got a little swole on. I know you hit the weights kind of heavy, but since you're in preparation, I know you've been doing a lot more cardio, hitting 6-7 miles. Did you tone the weights down a little bit, or are you just adding the cardio on top of it?
Yeah, I did. All I do now for as far as weights is concerned is I have a leg day every week, but I go all out on the leg day to where I need the whole week to recover.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, so I'm just working on legs right now as far as weights go, but I'm going heavy, bro. Like I just maxed out last week. Matter of fact, I'm supposed to be in the gym right now with my girl doing legs, but I'd much rather be here with y'all because I can do that shit later. Like so,
Yeah.
but I basically just do legs. Yeah, that's it.
Heck yeah. That's the way to do it.
What you got coming up next? Tell everybody about what you got coming up next.
Oh man, pay-per-view on BLK Prime Boxing against Lil Mac, which is the East Coast People's Champ for 155 pounds. And I'm the West Coast People's Champ for 155 pounds. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And this is the unofficial true Street Beefs champion, People's Champ fight. Of course, it's unofficial because it's not a Street Beefs fight. But I mean, come on, like the people are going to know who the fuck is the champ. You know what I'm saying?
Right, coming out to bring it.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
No, we just talked about that BLK Prime, maybe a week or two ago on the show. I'm excited for a lot of those fights, man, but I'm excited to see you fight. Is it different? Does it feel different leading up to this one? Because it's like on BLK Prime pay-per-view than it does for the Scrapyard, or for the Street Beefs, or does it feel exactly the same?
No, it feels like the Pisces. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with the Pisces event that we had. It was outside of Street Beefs. I fought Mook.
With the Oni and all them?
Oni was not there, no.
I think
it was
never mind.
It was Mook, Red Reaper, Kilo, Scotty, Nico.
I saw that. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So like it was kind of like, you know, a mini version of BLK Prime because there was like some famous people there. There was like spectators and shit. It was an actual boxing ring, you know. So I guess it's just gonna be like that, but just on a little bit larger scale. And you know, nothing can come close to the I don't know how to say it. You know, they say the bright lights make you nervous. How you say, you know, when you're under the bright lights. That's what happened to me in Street Beefs West Coast 1. because I walk into a whole entire backyard full of gangster ass looking fools. I don't know any one of them, and I got to fight in front of all of them. And then once I got there, they're like, "Hey, Deezo, Darkness, you guys are up first. You got 5 minutes." That was like a minute after I walked in. I was like, "What the fuck? I'm not ready, bro." But all right, let's go. Like, I'm not gonna, you know what I'm saying, say shit. And then after that, bro, everything else was just like nothing can even come close to, you know, that feeling there. And now that I know that I have like all my supporters watching and have all this love, it makes it that much easier because I know it's not strangers no more. Like that first time was the only time that they were strangers.
Yep.
And after that, it's whatever.
So as you continue to grow as a fighter and, you know, get different avenues of platforms, I know that you created, you know, EMC, Elevated Mindset Combatives. Are you going to continue to try to grow that as well? And you maybe want to let some of the people know exactly what that is?
Yeah, Elevated Mindset Combatives is a fight team that we started in August, right after Street Beast West Coast 1. And Elevated Mindset started way back in 2009 before me. I'm fairly like new to Elevated Mindset as far as history goes.
Okay.
But Elevated Mindset Combatives is just that original idea morphed into something else, but different, but still the same. You know what I'm saying? Same roots,
Yeah.
basically, but like the flower is different. You know what I'm saying? If that makes any sense. But like, so what it is basically is our mindset. We stay high all the time. You know what I'm saying? We stay high, so we can always be elevated. You know what I'm saying? Because we believe that the herb is a gift from God. You know, and you know it's all praise to the Most High. So I feel like, and even if you don't smoke, you can elevate your mindset in other ways, and that's not the only way we elevate either. You know what I'm saying? That's just like what we say. Like we don't even say let's get high. We just say let's get elevated.
Yeah.
When you say let's get high or let's smoke weed, it sounds like, you know, derogatory. Like it's like it has a negative connotation with it. So we try to change it up. You know what I'm saying? Use endearing words instead to like change the narrative. You know, shape the narrative to a more positive avenue, or what's it called? So, but then we also have clothing, which is like just so we can represent ourselves. We're not really trying to make money off the clothing, although if it did grow, I wouldn't be upset about it. You know what I'm saying? But if you guys want to check it out, it's elevatedmindsetcombatives.com, and it's basically a Teespring store. Yeah, and I got all the logos that I've created. I got gear on there with those logos, like Wedo, the Oni, Shinigami, Mook. You know, all the Street Beast West Coast OGs. Wedo's the first logo I ever made. That's my favorite one. That's the best one I've made so far.
That's a dope
I don't
one.
think I'll ever top it. Yeah, I don't think I'll ever top that. And you know, I was gonna ask you actually, bro. Offline, you can give me some pro tips on the whole, you know what I'm saying, clothing company things. I see you doing your thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm always down. You know, someone helped me one time, so yeah, I'm always down to return the favor. Hell yeah.
Yeah, cause like yeah. But like right now I'm just trying to focus on the fighting more than the clothing because they both require immense amounts of focus, and I can only focus on one thing at a time. So like I had to step aside from the clothing designing and focus on the fighting because, you know, I can get hurt if
Yeah.
I'm not focused on this shit.
And he just doesn't do artwork. He's also smart too. If I remember correctly, there was a video in Street Beast West Coast where you broke down creatine and the whole usage of it, and you had pH levels on the whiteboard, and I was like, damn!
Yeah.
It made me want to step my game up instantly just from looking at that video, man. So
Yeah, you know, fitness, nutrition, working out and stuff like that. I've been obsessed with that since the first time I got buff, which was in 2012. Because I never worked out before then, like a little bit, but not much. And ever since I got buffed the first time, bro, like, I've been obsessed, dude. Like, I'm a very vain person. I like to look at myself in the mirror. I like to gas myself up. I be flexing and shit. So, like, I don't know, man. I just don't ever see myself stopping learning or lifting. Ever.
You're so
Never,
big you
ever.
can walk on your knuckles.
Shit. My fucking knuckles are kind of fucked up right now. Won't be walking on them anytime soon. Shit. Just one.
So in your future, I see a strain called Lil Deezo. I just see it.
That'd be hard. That'd be hard.
And the description will say, "Get you elevated."
Yeah,
For real.
that's what's up, bro.
Yeah. Elevated mindset cannabis, bro.
Oh shoot!
Or collective. That'd be sick. Collective.
If anyone tries to say anything, we got it on record right here. It has a date, a time, everything. No one can say that first.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, fuck. Maybe I shouldn't have said all that, huh?
No, I'm not gonna lie. Like I was telling Jay earlier too. You know, I'm glad to have you on the show because you're doing a lot, and it actually like even though people don't always know it, it's nice to be told that sometimes it is inspiring. And you know, there's nights where I don't necessarily want to do stuff, and I see that you've gone to the gym the night before you did this, you post the time, and then I'm like, you know what, he's doing it, so can I. Because I sometimes, oh, I got kids, I got this and that, and I'm like, well, you got kids, you got a whole life, you got a family, you got all the stuff that you're doing, and you're still making time for everything that you're trying to do. And so yeah, you in a way you inspire me sometimes too, just seeing some of the stuff that you put online and everything else. So I'd throw that out there too, so you know.
Yeah, I like to you know what I'm saying, keep myself posted online because I know that the people want to know what the fuck I'm doing, you know what I'm saying? And because I know that when I look at IG, I'm looking for my friends. I'm like, what the fuck are they doing today? You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to know what they're doing. And like, just real quick, I just want to shout out the whole team, the whole EMC team.
Yeah.
You know, we got a lot of guys right now. We got Blanco, the first member besides me, of course. And then we got who we got? We got Enyon Olorun. We got Mad Cuban. We got Diesel Luna. We got Bricks. We got Coda. You feel me? And me. So we got 7 right now. Plus the coaches, you know what I'm saying? So it's growing, dude. It's growing. It's growing. I want to get like a solid ass team going of like basically all champions, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Woo! Like,
oh, my bad. We got Island Strong. Island Strong, the newest member.
And he fights.
Man, I was watching some of his fights and just man, he looks like he hurts people.
Yes, bro. He's fighting on BLK with me too.
He's Money Mill?
Money Mail, yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I'm interested to see that one. Money Mill definitely has some skills to him too. I'm like,
yeah, Money Mail the barber.
He's giving everyone fresh babes.
Yeah, he tries. He's good though, yo. He's good. After I fought Zaytoven, he was like, "Yo, how much do you weigh?" I was like, "Bro, I'm so dead right now. I cannot get another fight." It's like, "Well, how'd you know I was gonna ask you to fight?" I was like, "Bro, why else would you be asking me how much do I weigh?" Like, no, I can't. I can't. But I do want to fight him eventually, though.
Or just make a list so I can start knocking him down.
Yeah, I want to fight Golden Arms. No, Golden Hands. My bad. Not Golden Arms. He's my guy.
Yeah, Golden Hands. Boxing champ. Woo!
Yeah.
Do I hear May West Coast Invasion? No.
Yeah, dude, I'm down because like that's probably the only time I'm gonna get out there this next year or this year. So if we can make that happen, that'd be sick, dude. You know, because I've been wanting to fight him since the first time I saw him fight.
I want to get back into the West Coast again. I'm this summer again. I'm like, all right, no broken bones. I'm eating all my spinach. I'm eating all my iron. You know, making sure I get good and strong.
Hell yeah, bro.
Jay, would you ever fly out to an event, a scrapyard event?
Actually, I was talking to Leslie about that, and once me and my wife get everything settled with Nevada, that's one of our first ideas is getting out to Washington, see a scrapyard event. So, Steve, you better let me in. Well, this is usually the time where guests leave, but Deezo's being so nice, he's going to stick with us at the rest of the show because we got no Maddie, so he's going to be our Brit for the day, I guess. But
Yeah.
Party V.
My dad, hey, my grandpa's from England, so it makes sense.
There you go.
Yeah.
Buddy,
Wait,
you
is
had
that part of Britain? Is that part of Britain though?
Yes. That Maddie's
it?
from
Alright.
England. Yes.
Cool.
So, Buddy V, you had an idea of what to speak on. So I'll let you explain what you wanted to talk about, and we'll talk about it.
So today I was kind of wanting to switch it up, speaking about, some of the main topics, upcoming fights, but kind of the comparison of, not just promotions and stuff being paid, but even the overall just stigma of even fighters, coaches, cornermen, and all sorts of different, whether you're looking at UFC, let's see, Street Beast as an example of amateur boxing, Bellator, bare knuckle fighting, or BKFC. They think down south in Southern America, it's called like jungle MMA, and just kind of like what it takes to be a fighter and all these different aspects. Because like money is just a small part of being a part of these organizations, even though there's a huge difference depending on where you go. But we're going to touch on that later.
Well, as the guy who doesn't fight on the show, like my whole fighting was in high school, you know what I mean? My question for you guys is like, do you find these guys who go into bare knuckle a little more crazy, or is that just an evolution of combat sports to you guys? Because I find it like you're coming out with a shattered hand. Your face is coming out bleeding. I get that a lot of bare knuckle fighters say, hey, I've never seen anybody leave on a stretcher besides cuts, unlike other combat sports. What are your guys' thoughts on that? And would you two ever bare knuckle box?
Buddy, go ahead, take it away.
I think it's interesting. I still think it's an art form because, like you said, there's a lot more shattered bones. So some of those normal punches you throw, you might not be able to, because if you hit too hard on the surface, you're doing more damage to yourself. So I feel like it takes a different kind of training. But with the injuries, you could sustain a lot more of the scar tissue, busting yourself open. I feel like a lot more brain damage because that clean hook to the temple, I mean, it's gonna do a lot more damage than a glove. I feel like if I was really to bare knuckle, I'd have to be in the streets mad at somebody and someone messing with my family. Other than that, I don't think I'd go in there willingly. I'd rather, I want to have pads on my hands and my knuckles so I know I'm protecting myself to at least the bare minimum. I still have to help, support my kids, my girl, everything, and take care of whatnot, stuff to do. And I feel like it's too much risk versus reward for me personally. But I mean, the people that could do it, sometimes they don't have anything to lose. They're like, I'm a single guy, and I just love fighting. I don't care. The more scars, the better. I'm trying to look ugly when I'm older.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's just bare knuckle that's real fighting. You know what I'm saying? That's the type of fighting that I would used to daydream about when I was a kid, and that's the type of fighting my dad would talk about when I was a kid. So, I mean, I'm down to do it, but I would have to like see a nice check, bro. I'd have to see a nice check, and it would have to be like after I've already been boxing for like 5-6 years type of shit. Cause I'm not trying to go bare knuckle against a fucking seasoned vet boxer, pro boxer who decided to go bare knuckle as well. Like fuck that, bro. Fuck that. I mean shit. I'll do it like I said after like 5-6 years boxing. You know.
Yeah, I see that there's bare knuckle MMA coming out. Like there's different. I know Jorge Masvidal starting one. Jason Reinhart, ex-UFC, former UFC fighter, is getting one going. That's nuts too, man. Bare knuckle MMA that's like pretty much a street fight with a few rules.
That would be insane. I don't even. Damn. Like that would open up a whole. Would you be able to wear shoes then? No, just kidding. But
I know, huh? I don't know,
bare
man.
knuckle MMA, that might be a little too brutal. But
I mean, I wouldn't do it.
Neither.
I mean, I wouldn't do it in the organizations that exist right now, just because those guys are coming in from other organizations and they're fucking good, bro.
Right? I mean, how many people transfer over? One of the things I was going to talk about later, like during the fighter pay, like was it Mike Perry? UFC went to Triller to fight and ends up making quadruple his purse. I mean, to me, something like that. Okay, you want to pay me more than what I'm making for gloves? I think I'm willing to swing your way, and one of those things.
His next fight is bare knuckle fighting championship versus Julian. Put me back in, bro. I forget his last name. I am so sorry. UFC
Lane.
guy, put me back in. Yeah, that dude.
Lane. He beat the hell
Man,
out of
yeah,
that fool.
thank you.
That was a good fight, man. That was a good fight.
I just saw them post that the other day, and I was like, damn, Mike Perry went from UFC to Triller to bare knuckle in like a year and a half. I was like, this dude ain't playing.
Some people are like, woo. You said what?
He was saying after the fight that his hands by the end of the fight, his hands were hurting so bad he didn't even want to hit him.
Oh yeah, no thank you.
His knuckles are like, fucking broken for sure.
He's 65, your finger's gonna be like, can't even open a jar.
Well, you guys fighting street beefs, how much stigma do you guys see come back? Because at first, like a year or two ago, I think there was a lot more stigma than there is now. And I know there's always going to be those, oh, fuck that, the gyms that don't want their fighters to go there or whatever. I actually got into a debate with a dude on an MMA site where he's like, oh, nobody should even take these guys seriously. I said, if any amateur promotion was smart, oh, they would sign as street beef guys, because where else do you get amateurs coming in with the fucking recognition that these guys have, the views these guys have? So what do you guys feel about it? Do you feel some stigma from fighting in street beef branches?
Yes, from established gyms mainly.
I feel like
kind of like. Oh. No, go ahead, but go ahead.
I was gonna say, it's just, it almost feels like sometimes it's almost a little bit of jealousy, because, you know, they's like, oh, I'm established, we've been here for X amount of years, there's been generations that came to this gym, and we've helped people go to this next level. Who are you to think that you can just come in, do something online? It's like that old school mentality, and they get kind of irritated that something new is flourishing. And I mean, yeah, like you said, promotions, I don't see why they wouldn't want to sign some of the fighters, because if you're already coming with the following, you got someone, Lil Deezo or Shinigami or something like that. You get somebody that's coming out with a name, you're going to automatically bring that following, so you're going to have almost a guaranteed percentage of the viewers that are just going to watch that fighter. Why wouldn't you want to do that versus going to the ring and getting somebody that's got a killer record, but damn near nobody knows, unless you're actually following intensely?
Yeah. See, I never even thought about it like that. You guys got the minds for this shit, but for me, I'm just like, man, these fools are just haters. Like, they're just bitter about it. Like, yo, like, they talk about it like it's some type of dogfight or cockfight or some shit like that. Like, well, you're better than that, bro. You shouldn't be fighting in the backyard on dirt, bro. Like, even though I agree with it, you shouldn't be doing MMA on the sand like that. I mean, I wouldn't do it, but I don't judge other people for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I just feel like lots of judgment sometimes, but mostly it's support from people that I talk to. And I think a lot of that has to do with I don't just come right out and say I'm a fighter, like I'll know someone for months before I ever even bring up fighting. And so they get to know me as a person first before I really, because like I don't want to be that guy, like, oh, I'm a fucking fighter, you know what I'm saying? I'm a badass fighter. I fight in street beefs and shit. Nah, fuck that. Never bring it up.
Staying humble.
Yeah, I think it's gaining more and more respect, but I do think you're always going to have those like set in their ways, old ass people who ain't trying to hear it. But I think a lot of it, like was said, is jealousy, because if you look at Pat McAfee has taken the sports world internet by storm. He has changed the game for podcasters like Rogan did. And people are hating on him at ESPN and Fox. It's like, you're just mad he didn't go to Syracuse for 4 years, climb up through a newspaper for 20 years, and then finally get his shot on ESPN. He said, like Buddy V, fuck it, I'm doing it my way.
Yep. I feel like,
yeah.
My bad.
Oh, no, I was just shitting on that.
Heck yeah. No, it's just, it's interesting because, like I said, I think jealousy will always play a huge part. Think about all the gyms when sometimes people think about MMA gyms. Oh, I don't want to go in there, they're hazing. Or you got a bunch of the guys that are bullies, or even like some of the older fighters. You look at Ken Shamrock. He talked about his gym. People would come in and they'd haze the hell out of him to the point where people were leaving with bruised and damn near cracked ribs and whatnot. And so I feel like they're probably, they think they're better than us. We do this, we do that. And they don't have the type of community that we have, like Deezo said. There's a lot of support in the group where even where you may not be able to completely associate with absolutely everybody, everybody has a welcoming vibe. So even though it's like me and you might not have the same viewpoints, we're still going to respect each other the same way, and that's awesome. And then you or me might find somebody else that really clicks, and I mean through there's so many connections that get formed. And like you said with EMC, how many of your fighters have met and talked through there, and now they're going to try to pursue bigger things? I mean, I feel like sometimes at gyms you don't always get that because you get a lot of egotistical people that think they're the ones that need to make it. They're the ones that are going to go pro. They're the ones that have to be the one to get it. Versus here, you just want to see a lot of people do better and grow together.
And that's what EMC is about now, bro. It's about the other fighters besides myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, I try to use my my brand to put my guys up. You know, put them as much as I can. I know I don't post very often because I'm so fucking busy, but lately I've been more committed to posting my guys up on my story and stuff like that. Cause like I really just want all of us to grow all together, and I don't want it to be like, you know, I don't know. I just want us to all grow together. You know what I'm saying?
I can personally speak on the acceptance from the Street Beefs community, as I am not a fighter. I'm a podcaster who was blown away by the acceptance of the combat sports community. And I will say this, and I'll probably piss some people off and they'll never come on our show, but it's never the fighters who are the fighters are always nice, respectful. They're great. But it's sometimes when I try to reach out to promoters, to agents, they're like, it's kind of where I get the weird vibe. Whereas when it's the fighters, it's nothing but love. Even if they can't come on, it's nothing but love. But most of them are like, it's odd. They thank me for letting them come on. And I'm like, this show doesn't even exist without you guys. So we should be the ones thanking you. No, the combat sports community, but Street Beefs in general is just an amazing like community that just bands together when it's needed too.
Yeah, that's hella true. That's hella true. That part right there. Most of all.
Do you feel like a part of the reason why the community for Street Beefs is so good, not just because people are trying to better themselves, is because of the fact that there is literally no money involved? So anybody that can try to even have like leech off of it in any way they can't even do that. Do you feel like that's a good part of the reason why we're able to stay kind of pure, I guess?
Yes, because there are other things that are more important than money, like fellowship, brotherhood, friendship, family. And, you know, like some people just want attention. They just want someone to appreciate them, their hard work. And that's worth more than money. You know what I'm saying? So like it's better. It's better than money, in my opinion. So that's what makes it so much that's what makes it so amazing, is because yes, there's no money involved and everyone wants to get paid to fight, but what we do get is better than money, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But that's a good lead-in, buddy, because you wanted to talk about money in MMA. And I know there's huge differences. Like, okay, so the UFC and Bellator, and sometimes Bellator actually outpays the UFC, but the UFC's got a better brand name, so people just assume they're the top dog. But those other promotions, man, they don't like you're getting a couple $100 to walk in the door.
Yeah. It's like what? Like, okay, so I wrote a couple things down. Let's see. So for like, you know, the Bellator, obviously you're getting high level fighters, and it's like what, first round $10,000, second round $25,000, final round $40,000, and that's not to mention if you're the winner, you get bonuses with that as well. You know, with bare knuckle fighting, you know, sometimes I've seen people, they're just starting off on the basic level, they'll make $2,000-$3,000, and that's on the low end. Versus, you know, they can eventually make it $25,000 a fight, and even more if you get more. Like, you know, Mike Perry's about to fight. He knows how much he's going to get. I think it's interesting because what were they? So let's see this. So they said the Fury and Wilder fight, Fury got like 30 million, Wilder got 20 million. You combine that, it's 25 times more money than all the UFC fighters combined for UFC 270. And it's just like, is that really, like, can you really justify not paying some of these fighters more? Because if boxing can take away that much of a purse, how much is Dana White really pocketing and taking away without people knowing?
Yes. Yes, you can justify it because those guys knew what they were getting into when they signed the contract. You know what I'm saying? And that's not to say that there aren't other business models that are better than the one they have, but that's their business model and it's very public knowledge. You know what I'm saying? And it works. It works because let's just imagine they start paying fighters way more, and now every fighter on the roster is going to demand a pay increase. And some of them probably going to go on strike and just try to quit or whatever. And that's just not, you know what I'm saying? It's not. Plus, when when fighters get paid more, some of them tend to like fly off the handle a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I'm not saying that they need to keep the fighters poor, but like, I don't know, man. Money just muddles everything. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I want to throw this out there just because I've heard this argument on why Dana pays less. Well, the argument comes in is you hear what Wilder made, you hear what Fury makes, you hear what these guys make. So, okay, Conor McGregor makes good money. There's certain guys that when they walk in there, they're going to get paid, the Diaz. But Dana always argues that down the line, if you'd actually look what the guys on the boxing cards get on the undercard, they're getting paid way less than the UFC guys. I have no idea if that's true, but I do always hear that argument that the money spread out more in the UFC than it is in boxing. I have no idea, but that is one of the arguments that get put out there.
Huh.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I would have to ask a low level pro boxer because I've never actually did that research. But that's a good point. You know what I'm saying? That's a good point.
I feel like I could see, you know, maybe because there's a lot more damage you could take in MMA than in boxing, so they have to try to make it a little more worthwhile. Because I mean, with boxing, you're only worrying about hands coming at you, maybe an occasional headbutt or elbow.
I think it boils down to scumbags like Bob Arum who take all the money, right? Like, and I'm not defending Dana White and his stance, but at least like if you're in the UFC, Dana makes the fights, you take the fight, you fight the fight, you get paid. In boxing, it's always how much am I going to get? I need a percentage of this. And then you got scumbags like Bob Arum taking 80% of the money when the boxer, you know, and it might not be 80%, but you know, you've heard the Don King stories on how he screwed Tyson, how he screwed different fighters. It's like Mayweather went on his own because he got sick of being screwed, you know, by the promoters. So I think a lot of it is the promoters who are scumbags too.
Oh yeah, I mean, and they had to try to help them in 1999, put in that Ollie Act. They went into effect in 2000. And I mean, just to be able to make a little bit more of a protection for the boxers. But I mean, UFC doesn't have anything like that or even close. I mean, I feel like it's still relatively a little too new. Boxing's been around since, you know, the golden ages. But shoot,
yeah,
I feel like sometimes the money could really affect the fighting style though too. Because how many times, like what there is Adesanya Whitaker fight, they were saying, you know, I expected more of a fight, not you just to show up, do a hard spar, collect a check. So then that's also, does that mean if you're collecting more money, are you really going to take the risks? Versus you watch some of the Bellator street beefs, they're doing it because they have the heart. They actually want to do it.
I know everybody's got 15 reasons why, but Conor McGregor is not the same because it's hard to get up and get punched in the face for a living when you have $100 million.
I mean, yes.
Yeah.
Would anybody want to?
So, buddy, you know what time it is? It's everybody's favorite segment of the show.
Buddy V's Fighters to Watch.
Now, in the spirit of Deezo being on the podcast, I had chosen two, which one is going to be Island Strong because, he's fighting BLK Prime. Yes, he's part of, with all the stuff you've been sharing from EMC and whatnot. And just, I think his strength is good. His technique is improving a little bit more every fight. And if he's really training the way he's training and he continues to on this path, I mean, win or loss, whatever happens at BLK, I think he has a bright future ahead of him. And even in the sandbox or wherever else he fights, whether it's the OG yard or he goes up to the scrap yard, I think he's going to definitely be putting work in whoever his opponent is, whoever's in front of him, no matter the name. The second one, for sure, is on the here right now, Lil Deezo.
What's up?
Like you said, you improve every fight. You've been putting a lot more into it. I respect you not only as a fighter, but as a person. Like I say, you grow. You're constantly trying to change things and make things happen, which I respect. But with that, you're focusing a lot more on your weights, a lot more on your cardio, your skill, and it's definitely showing. It's improving. Your arms are not just big; the speed is increasing too. I think that once you get a little bit more technicality underneath, you'll be able to use some of those haymakers and overhands a lot more effectively, and no one's going to be able to really block them. In which case, you're going to start knocking every opponent down that gets in front of you. And like I said, the only issue I ever had before was some of the gassing out in the cardio, but you've been working on that. You've been putting in lots of miles, multiple miles a day, and you really fixed that problem, in which case I think, you know, you limited all weaknesses. So let's see where it goes from here. How far are you going to set the bar? How far are you going to take it?
Yeah.
I want to see.
Yeah, and you know, it's kind of scary, bro, because, you know, I don't know if you feel the same way, but sometimes I can be a little bit afraid of success. So, but I'm putting in the hard work, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like I said, I'm just on the mission. So no matter how I feel, I'm focused and I'm committed. You know what I'm saying? So it's going down, bro. Like, I'm not there to box. I'm there to eliminate. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be crazy.
It's
gonna be
can't
crazy.
wait to watch that.
Make sure you guys get out and check this man's fights out. Buddy V, before you tell him about your brand, because we're going to have you do that, I got a message sent to me today with a sneak peek of some of the artwork Buddy V did for Overtime Hustling. That shit is cold. I can't wait for it to drop, but let him know what you got going on.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm crossover with Overtime Hustling, doing a little collab as well. As you see right here, I make all my own stuff. And yeah, I create my own brand. I draw my own logos. I print them all, make my own shirts. There's a couple fighters here at the scrapyard that I make some merchandise for, design a few stuff for them. And the whole point is grow, do what you want. I'm a living example. You get punched in the face, what's going to stop you? That's the worst. And I still get up every day and I go harder and harder to be the best that I can every day, better than the day before. And that's what as well is hard work and dedication, whatever the fuck you want.
Fuck yeah.
All right, guys.
Let me hear a little Deezo, though.
Yes. Lil Deezo, thank you so much for being here. And how about you shout out that website again and any social media you want them to have?
Yeah. Elevated Mindset Combatives on IG. Lil Deezo 408, that's me. And the brand, the clothing store, elevatedmindsetcombatives.com.
All right. Thank you again for giving us your time. We appreciate you so much for being here.
Hey, I appreciate you guys too. And to all the people watching, it's all love. Thank you guys for the support. See you next time.
All right, guys. That's it. One world, one love. Deuces.
Out.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, I thought that was great.